I have done something that a lot of people over the last couple of years have asked me to do, and I've succumbed to peer pressure, that and the fact that at the moment at least this is the only save game I'm playing in Football Manager. I've installed the new GAN face pack, which for people who don't know, it basically gives all your regens who have like the paper plasticky faces that look awful, real photos based on their ethnicity and the country of origin that they're from. So, Scott Williams. He is still a regen, I guess, but he doesn't have a regen face anymore. And this is the case for all of our players. And with us being 10 years into the future, I was looking across my team. We've got to the point now where there's not as many real players in our team. But if we just look at the tactics screen, everyone's got a human face. Yeah, even Rigby looks Australian. And I think, does he look Australian to you Australian viewers? Let me know. I know you're out there. You guys stay up late to watch these videos. But yes, new faces across the board. Things are changing here at Guernsey and not always for the better because Brian Davis, who also has a face, on loan from Man City last year, tore it up at centre attacking mid. He rejected the option to come back to us on loan, and I didn't notice it. The inbox item came in last episode. Between last episode and this episode, I offered him everything that I could do as a loan option, and he's turned us down. What does that mean? Well, it means that I need to find a new shadow striker. Yeah, it's less than ideal. Now, I do fully appreciate that for you that are eagle-eyed viewers that have got used to the faces that players have had, it's going to be a little bit of a shock to the system. But with time, we will come to love all our players all the same. And of course, this is something that's going to be ongoing now. We will no longer be able to differentiate between regens and real people, which some people will like, some people will dislike. I fall somewhere in the middle. All I will say is, Luis Tejera, very good-looking chap. Now, just to recap, we have a lot of money in the bank, just shy of £2.5 million to be precise. And in terms of transfer budget, it sits at £1 million with £10,000 excess at the moment. I could do some rejigging here. I'm kind of tempted to give myself £20,000 free on the wages and the smaller transfer budget. But what I think we'll do is we'll leave rejigging for later. Once we've started signing some players, maybe we can make a decision. And I do genuinely think we have some pretty big decisions to make. In terms of the bench, I'm pretty happy with the squad. In terms of the starting 11, there's gaps that need to be filled. I need a starting centre-back. I need a starting striker. I need a new shadow striker option. I have considered the possibility of moving Donald further up the pitch to play shadow striker. It's a role he could play to a certain level, but given the fact he's got 15 vision and all these really good mentals, I feel like they're almost just a little bit wasted playing as a shadow striker. I mean, as a deep line playmaker on support, he ticks all the boxes that he needs to, alongside, of course, a much better defensive player in Aboubakari. Speaking of which, I've been looking at Aboubakari, and I think he's going to play as a Segundo Volante going forward. The defensive midfielder gave us some solidity, but he has some really good attributes going forward. His 13 finishing wasn't really being used last year, and by playing him as a Segundo Volante, he'll just get into the box a little bit more, which will be nice. Of course, when it came to transfers last episode, lots of outs, slightly fewer ins. We saw the likes of Lenny Ray, George Urphy, Apaya, and also Gallagher leave the club. In their place, well, did we sign anyone last episode? We signed Vaughan's last episode. I still remain adamant this guy's going to be a great right back. But it's safe to say that today we definitely need to sign more players. It is also the 30th of June, which, if I'm not mistaken, does that mean players' contracts have expired yet? I think they expire in one day, actually, but very, very soon there will be lots of freebies to sign. So we have got a few players with contracts expiring at the end of the season. I have made a decision on Abu Kamara. I am going to try and sell him. I feel like right now his stock is at its absolute highest. He's got plenty of goals for us. Apparently he may not react well to being offered out, but he already looks like he's going to leave us at the end of the year if we don't, well, try and sell him now, simply because I'm not willing to pay him £6,000 a week. That is way too much for what he offers. With that in mind, given the fact he got double-figure goals, it's time to see if there's anyone out there that might want him. There are a couple of other younger players that I think I am going to offer new contracts to, just because I don't want to lose them for nothing, and I think they do still hold some resale value. I suppose the battle I'm going to be facing here is some of them are going to want to have elevated squad status. I don't want to give them elevated squad status. Last episode, we were offering out Caden Tipping a lot just to see if anyone wanted him. Nobody wanted him. I've double-clicked there by mistake. I've included a yearly wage rise. I do normally hate including yearly wage rises. I suppose the silver lining here is it's £85 a week more. I think we can afford that at this point. Apparently Abu Kamara is unhappy about his asking price. How much does he think is fair? How about 300k? Okay, if we get £300,000, I would be rather happy. Okay, contracts have now expired. Loads of players have been released. And Jordan James, we talked about him last episode. I like this guy a lot. He wanted a lot of money previously. Gonna hope that he's now got more realistic wage. Is he asking for... Wait, he never made demands before, did he? He just turned me down. Now he's asking for £20,000. No, absolutely not. Fagan Wolcott was another player who I was a little bit interested in. Curious to see if maybe he's now lowered his wage demands as a free agent. Concerning starts to the negotiations. This isn't going to work, is it? He's not going to accept this. It doesn't matter what I put here. He won't walk away. Just remembered, one thing that we can do now is try and loan other players from Man City. I mean, Brian Davis was amazing for us last year, but now Man City want him to play with higher quality players, so he's not an option. Del Sear, really like the look of this guy. Apparently I can't loan him yet. He can't play competitive matches for another club before the 1st of July. Okay, we'll come back tomorrow. Wayne Beckford, look at his beautiful little face. He's left us now to go back to Celtic, although he is loan listed by them. They think he should be tested in a different environment, though. It's a little bit annoying. Would have been quite convenient to replace Beckford with Beckford, but we've already done that for 6 months. We can't do it for another year. Jorge Reguera here was a player playing for Man City last year. I actually looked to loan him in and he turned me down. Is he interested in joining us? He's not really a perfect player for anything, but he's got a little bit about him. He wants £2,900 a week. You can see his ability here. The big concern is his injury proneness. Oh my word, this is his injury history. He's only been playing football for 5 years. That has turned me off quite a lot. Speaking of Man City, it is now the 1st of July. I've come back up, Man City. It's a day later. Have you got players interested in joining me now? Del Sear, Man City want him to play with higher quality players. How about Morgan Roberts? He's developed a little bit. They don't want any wage contribution. He would be a fringe player for us. I want him to the end of the season. They've accepted that. That could be a very useful squad player for us. When you compare him with Vaughan's, they could definitely duke it out for that right wing-back position, with, of course, the caveat that Vaughan's can actually play as a defensive midfielder as well for us. He would be a really useful addition, actually, Roberts. Also, he's Welsh, so him and Scott Williams are probably best mates or something. Just looking at more Man City players here, Yannick Schmidt is an Austrian under-21 international, has no concept of marking whatsoever, and is more of a centre-mid than a centre-back. But I look at him and think he could actually be a really good little defensive option for us. 14 jumping reach, 16 heading as well. If we just compare him here with Bobby Thomas, who of course right now is our 3rd best centre-back option, I mean, he is undoubtedly better than Bobby Thomas. I guess the big thing is now, is Yannick interested? I mean, Man City seem keen on the loan, which is good. I'm going to offer to loan him to the end of the year. I'm going to offer him fringe player kind of playing time. If they turn that down or he rejects it, I'll probably just up it to see if that entices his interest. Very often, that playing time can influence whether or not a player wants to join you, so it's always worth just experimenting a little bit with it if you start with a lower playing time and they do turn it down. I really want to bring back Brian, everyone. I really want Brian to come home. I say come home. He doesn't want to come home. He doesn't want to be with me. There's another Man City youngster here, Ryan Phelan, who looks like he could be a pretty good striking option. Some really good pace, agility, and acceleration. In fact, his physicals from kind of a pacey point of view are really good. Combined with his dribbling, passing, work rate, and technique. A lot to like about him. Not a massive fan of the 8 composure, but if I could get him on loan for the year, for free, that'd be great. Apparently Man City want him to play with higher quality players. I'm wondering, can I ask for more affiliates? Can we get another senior affiliate, please? This is really important. Please. I've done a lot for the club, Neil. Do it for me. Imagine if we get another senior affiliate. You know, we've got Man City. I'll take Liverpool as my other affiliate, please, Football Manager. I do feel like between Yannick here and also Morgan Roberts, we could have 2 of the kind of problem areas solved for us. The more I'm looking at Yannick, the more I'm convinced he is actually a centre-back and he's just not realised it yet. Last year was on loan for Palermo in Serie B, played a game in the Premier League once upon a time, so you know he must be good. I was just looking through some of these centre-attacking mids that were available because we do need a shadow striker, and I've had my memory jogged by Alexander Vukovic here. Now, he's not a very good player, but he plays for Mainz, and can you guys remember that Filipino player who turned me down a few years ago? I'm pretty sure he went to Mainz. Okay, my memory wasn't failing me. I mean, it often does, but not on this occasion. Christian Gadier here, the Filipino striker. Now, this man turned me down when we were in League 2. I think, or League One, to go to Mainz. He has done nothing for Mainz over the years, but I'm still looking at him thinking, you could be quite a good striker, and he happens to be transfer listed by request. If we're looking to kick Abu Kamara out, we could do a lot worse than Christian Gadier here. I mean, he has insane physicals. He's just a straight upgrade, isn't he, really? They're asking for £100,000. I'm wondering if I can loan him for the year with the option to maybe buy him at the end of it. There's no option to buy. Is that because his contract's expiring? It is because his contract's expiring. I suppose what I could do is I could loan him for the year on £1,000 a week, assuming that he's up for actually joining us. And then if he plays great, we can just try and sign him as a free agent ourselves, or try and negotiate something with Mainz down the line. I suppose it is worth me asking at this point, what do you think of using the new GAN face pack? I've never used it in my YouTube videos before. I find it actually surprisingly refreshing. There's something about when you get into the future and everyone's regens that kind of feels a bit, not weird, but sometimes it can feel hard to connect to the players when they look so strange. Whereas now we have all these regens that I'm just scrolling through, and they all actually have real faces. I think Justin here is a real person. I mean, that's the other thing. I don't know who's real and who's not. I'm going to get attached to people who aren't real and not know that they're not real. I feel like that's a sentence that in any other context would probably have me locked up in an asylum or something. I promise you I'm not losing the plot this time. Have I just stumbled across the shadow striker of my dreams? Rabat's here, sorted by world reputation. I mean, he's Jamaican. Immediately I'm interested. He looks really, really good as a centre attacking mid option. Was previously playing for Brentford here. Had a loan in the Championship last year where he didn't actually do that well for Derby County, but he was signed for 8.5 million once upon a time, and at 24 years old, I feel like there's quite a lot to like. Great off the ball, great bravery, great technique, also likes to attempt overhead kicks. Is there a better, more exciting trait in Football Manager? Let me know. Answers on a postcard. I got really, really excited. Probably should have hit the approach to sign option sooner. Has no interest in signing for us because we do not have the money to meet his financial demands. I'm still really not sure about Jorge Reguera's injury history, but there's something that I do like about him. I feel like he could be a good player to play as the wider centre-back option that could probably make up for his deficiency in the air. On the flip side, he's the kind of man we could bring in to see out games as a defensive midfielder. Has some really, really good tackling, great determination as well. Good aggression. I love an aggressive tackler. I mean, what were his wage demands? £2,900. He wants a release clause of £7 million. You know what? If he thinks he's worth £7 million, that immediately has me interested. Only can offer him a 2-year deal. I'm going to offer him a contract extension after promotion of a year. I'm going to try lowering the wages to 2.5. And he's accepted that. That might be a risk worth taking. Really good news. Both our offers of both Man City youngsters have been accepted. Fingers crossed they want to join us too. Apparently our Gadier loan offer has been accepted. And elsewhere, I went for Darren Dixon. Remember Double D? Yeah, I thought I'd see if he changed his mind. I didn't even record the bidding bit because I just figured he'd say no. And, well, he has said no. Apparently Birmingham City, Charlton, Huddersfield, Luton and Bromley have all made offers for Reguera. I mean, now I feel more justified in my interest. There's other teams in and around us who also want him. Granted, one of them is a Vanarama National League team and the rest are all teams in the league below us. I have just approached to sign loads of strikers on trial. We're just taking loads on trial. We're going to make a reality TV show where loads of strikers come on trial to us, and hopefully one of them's actually good. Heiko Menz here has a really, really good, well, rating from our staff. He looks decent. 16 finishing, 15 composure, good off the ball. Apparently he's inconsistent, but he loves big matches, and he could be a decent Premier League player in the future, albeit now he is 24 years old and, well, he's not really developed much, it looks like, at Leipzig. Certainly not established himself in their team. He was released from them. He actually made his senior debut 4 years ago. He has had one hip injury, but it was 6 years ago. From an injury point of view, there's not too many concerns there. I suppose the concern really is, how much does he want a week? He doesn't even want to talk to me. Why agree to come on trial to a club you have no intention of signing for? Looked through the players who brought in on trial. None of them were worth it. At least we've got reports on them now. Now I don't have to scout them, I suppose. Now, we did negotiate a 50% sell-on clause in Wayne Beckford's contract. I can sell that for £1.5 million now to Celtic. It's 50% of any profit. So, well, looking at this, they reckon he's going to sell for £3.5 million. Do we think Wayne Beckford will ever be worth more than £3.5 million? I feel like he probably could be. But at the same time, 1.2 million right now is kind of massive. I'm thinking back to Scott Williams and sat back thinking, I didn't take that clause then when I probably should have. I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. A guaranteed £1.2 million is more than what we've ever earned for a player. Our record sale is Wayne Beckford at 900k. I think 950k actually. But we've just sold a clause for 1.2 million. That's mad. Yeah, I don't know why I thought about that for a moment, really. That does make the theoretical sell-on kind of price that we got for Beckford of over £2 million now, which when you consider he had a release clause of £325,000 that I couldn't get rid of, it looks like very good business. I mean, suddenly the budget for transfers is up at 2.1 million. I realise I've been looking at freebies all this time. I've not actually looked at players who are actually transfer listed or loan listed. Bob Hamilton is transfer listed at Crystal Palace for 375k. Now, Swansea have already made an early bid. I'm not sure he's necessarily the shadow striker of my dreams, but he is a very blooming good player who you could probably change the role of the centre attacking mid to facilitate. I suppose the issue is he's on £13,000 a week. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to afford him. If you're wondering what goes on behind the scenes of a transfer special, I'll tell you what goes on behind the scenes. Me going through every single under-21 national team in Europe, hoping there might be some undiscovered gems that are just, available for really cheap. At this point, it's kind of what we have to do. One man who has jumped out at me a little bit, I was looking at the Hungarian national team, is Darren Anderson. He was previously playing for Middlesbrough. You can see here, moved on a free transfer to MTK. He does not look back like a bad little centre-back at all. I mean, compared to what we've got, he'd probably be an improvement. He's probably just below the level we're looking for. But this is the kind of player that sometimes you can find just flicking through national teams, flicking through the youth teams, sorting by value. There are players out there. Have got to be wary as I go through all these different teams. Work permits are a thing. Unless they're really, really good, they probably won't get one. Then again, if you're not playing Football Manager for the thrill of finding the next best thing only for them to not get a work permit, are you even really playing Football Manager correctly? I got to the Northern Ireland under-21s here and I saw the name Linfield and it's jogged my memory about a player, Aaron Kearney. Can you remember me talking about this guy before? Looked a little bit different last time we looked at him. He was playing for Linfield. He was a really, really good player. He's still a really, really good player. I wonder if he'd be interested in joining us now. He's only on £2,000 a week. I don't know if he has a release clause in his contract. 650k to foreign clubs. Maybe I can get him for less than that. Let's have a look. They really want 650k. I mean, a few years ago, that would have hurt to read, but now we do actually have a bit of money. How about 425? Okay, I'm curious to see if he wants to join us. I really like the look of Aaron Kearney. He's one of those players who I've had my eye on for a long, long time. I've scouted him before, and it's been so long since I last looked at him. The scout report has expired, but really good physicals, really good speed, really good aerial ability too. Not too bad at technicals for a striker as too. Like, he has the stuff that you really want him to have. And on top of that, some nice mentals. So, yeah, maybe he'll be interested. He's got bags of international experience, which is always nice. Apparently he feels playing in the Champions League is important and has no interest in joining a club not involved in such competitions. Yeah, I'll be honest, Aaron, I can't give you Champions League football, mate, but you are on £2,000 a week, so I'm not sure what you're expecting. Abu Kamara's not very happy I'm offering him out, and to make things worse, he's now unhappy. You can see it officially here. No one is bidding on him. I mean, I just don't want to lose him on a free, and I know I'm not going to be able to offer him the wages that he wants, at least right now. Morgan Roberts has rejected our loan offer. Okay, I'll up his squad status and see if that makes him happier. I'm really hoping we can get him in. He'd be a useful signing. More loan rejections. Okay, Yannick, I really, really want you to join us on loan, so I'm going to up your squad status to what I think you'd be, which is a regular starter for us. And with Gadia, the more I'm looking at Gadia and the fact we've sold on the Beckford clause, the more I'm thinking maybe I just offer 100k, try and get this deal done, see if he's even interested in signing for us permanently, because for 100k, it's suddenly a really low-risk investment given the amount of money we've got in the bank. Okay, Schmidt offer accepted. Gadia is interested in talking. His wage demands, the predicted wage demands at least, are very, very low. He only wants £1,500. He does want these release clauses, right? Get rid of the release clauses. We're not having those. Top division wage rise, you can have 50%. If we get promoted, I'll give you 50% more. 4-year deal, we're going to try and stick 1.8k there. And maybe if we get rid of this, he'll agree to it. He wants a little bit more. How about 2k? I still feel like for £2,000 a week, you've got a really, really good player here. Going to lower the appearance fee slightly. 4 years, I really want you to sign for 4 years. I really hope he doesn't turn this down. I'm going to give him 2.2k. Why would you not sign for 4 years? Am I allowed to lose? Does that make any sense to anyone? Is anyone else surprised he rejected that? Maybe I'm just an idiot. You're probably sat there thinking, why would you be so insistent on having 4 years? The reason is that the longer his contract is, the higher his resale value is. And he's the kind of player who I think we would be signing for cheap to flip on for some more money. I'm just annoyed he's turned us down. I'll go back to him later in the transfer window if we've still not found a striker. He was injury prone. I didn't want him anyway. I think I'm handling this rejection quite well. I wasn't really planning on signing a goalkeeper. I felt kind of happy with Rigby, but I was just looking through players with contract status expired and an international cap. Tommy Setford here has popped up. He is a brother of Charlie Setford, who is the better brother, at least in the eyes of Football Manager. You've probably come across this guy in Football Manager, but he does have a brother. His brother's a free agent. He's interested in signing for us, and I'm interested in signing him. £6,000 a week. He wants a £1.8 million release clause to teams in a higher division. I've got to lock in the £4,500. I'll include the 50% top promotion wage rise. I don't like having a sell-on percentage because I don't want him getting money as a result of leaving. It kind of gives him an incentive to try and force a move. He wants a really, really big appearance fee, but he probably would be a big upgrade on Rigby. I say probably. I know he'd be a big upgrade on Rigby. The signing on fee is on the higher side. The appearance fee isn't small either, but he does look like a really good goalkeeper. I'm going to send a scout to look at him, just comparing him with Rigby directly. You can see the comparison here. Rigby has the edge in certain areas, but I think as an overall package, Tommy Setford's probably a little bit better. I'm sure I've covered this before, but if you've got loads of scout reports on the go and you go to your scout priorities, you can then choose to prioritise certain assignments. So Tommy Setford here, currently on hold, by hitting prioritise, he will now have his scout report provided to us sooner. Useful to have. If you've got loads of players you're looking at, that's a thing you can do. As you can see here, I've got lots of players I'm looking at the moment. I was just looking at this guy thinking he could be a pretty good signing. And I know when you look at the attributes, you think they're very, very meh. But I don't know. There's something about him that just makes me think he could work well in a low block. Blotch. It said blotch. It doesn't even work as a joke, does it? Do you ever end up in those weird Football Manager moments where you're just using obscure filters to find players? I'm currently in that situation. I'm looking for players on £5,000 or less who are at most 21 years old and have played once for their international team. And, I mean, it's throwing up some interesting results. I don't know if any of them are even realistic signings or signings that would improve our team, but I don't know, there's just something therapeutic about going through players. This man plays for Sparta Prague. He's a Haitian international with 34 caps. Is he a good goalkeeper? I think I'm being distracted by the fact he's Haitian and kind of unusual nationalities just jump out at me. Apparently they want around 220k for him. Probably can't afford him. I'm desperately in need of a new shadow striker, a new starting striker, and here I am just looking at just random players. Surely some of these have got to be good. This man plays for Norgeland. He's 18 years old. His name is Sheriff. We could call him the Sheriff. He could be a cowboy. The issue is that he is valued at £325 to £3 million. What does his agent think? His agent is not helping us. You know what? I'll just send an inquiry. We can see what they think. I am now trying to refocus. I need to be finding starting players for us. Players who can actually play in our starting 11 and make a difference. Jolan Jabodu here looks very good. He looks too good. There's no way he's ever going to be interested in signing for us, is there? I knew it. I'm back trying to sign Gadia. I keep ringing him up, but he's not answering the phone. I've been told that if I want to sign Sheriff, it's going to cost me £4.7 million. Yeah, I kind of figured that would be the case. Roberts has rejected our loan offer again. Am I just going to have to make him the promise of being a regular starter and hope that that's enough? I mean, if he turns this down, there's no hope I could sign him. Man City did have another right back. It was this guy, Luke Walder. How does he compare with Roberts? I mean, Roberts is kind of a bit more what we're looking for in terms of a wing-back going forward. But Luke Walder, I mean, if he has to be second choice and he's willing to join us as a squad player, he can be our sloppy seconds. Tommy Setford has agreed to join us. He would become a joint highest earner. I'll tell you what, there is a lot to like about Tommy Setford. Super consistent performer, relishes big matches. Lots of positives. Is he worth making our highest earner? Is he that much of an improvement on Rigby? I think the answer is he probably is. Rigby didn't wow me, and for a freebie, I think he's a very, very good option, Setford here. does have that release clause of 1.8 million that I don't love, but at the same time, if a team bid 1.8 million, we've signed him on a free transfer anyway. Looking at things, he has actually played a lot of first-team football for Ajax's first team as well. Whether or not he's played well for their first team, I suppose, is up for debate, but you know what? I am convinced. Apparently, Yannick Schmidt has rejected our loan offer again. Right, I'm going to offer him key player. If he doesn't accept this, there is absolutely no point in me trying anything more. With Setford joining us, it does raise a bit of a question as to what goalkeeper do I get rid of? And, I mean, we have Rob Carlton here, right, who's a backup player. But the issue with Rob Carlton is he's homegrown at club and he's a goalkeeper who's 22. Like, in an ideal world, he is our third-choice goalkeeper to the end of time in this save game because once we're in European competitions in a decade, we're going to need players who are homegrown at club, and having kind of a third-choice goalkeeper who is that man is kind of ideal. I don't really want to get rid of Rigby either, just because I know he's a player we could rely on. So, Owen Mason, I'm really sorry, mate. I think the guillotine might be falling on your head here. We'll offer him out and see if we can get any pennies for him. Truth be told, he's come in, and when you look at his history as a goalkeeper, it's not exactly great, is it? 91 goals conceded in 46 games in League 2. He was our backup player in the Championship. Something does not add up there. I've had some offers for Owen Mason. They are pathetic offers, and they're all just locked in, so I'm going to offer him out again. Turns out a few teams do want Owen Mason as a backup player, and it's teams in the Championship. You know what? You guys can have him. So looking at the first team at the moment, it's currently 19 players. It's definitely a little bit on the light side. That said, there's still plenty of time left of pre-season. Just because in previous transfer windows we've almost been done at this point, doesn't mean we need to rush things now. I'm really trying to reassure myself that everything's going to be okay. If we get in the players that I'm looking to sign, like, we've got half the problem position sorted. The issue is, none of them seem to actually want to join me. I never really wanted to sell Tim Apshon because he is homegrown at club, but at the same time he's on £3,000 a week and he's just not near enough the first team. If I ever need him as a homegrown at club player, we'll be in the Champions League or European football, he'll probably want to join us then. So with that in mind, I think it is probably worth just trying to move him to Oxford. Going to offer him out for 35k and hope that they will accept that, which they will. Now I just have to hope that Oxford can offer him wages that will mean that he is convinced to leave. Some heartbreaking news, Reguera has turned us down to go to Luton, where he is going to earn just shy of £4,000 as a squad player. I hate how small we are right now. I'm really right now just waiting to find out about the Man City potential loan signings. There's some players there that I'd really like Morgan Roberts, who, well, he just doesn't want to join us. No idea why. I could make an offer and loan him as an important first-team player, but I just don't think he will be an important first-team player, and the chances are that Man City will just recall him, and that is not really a situation I want to find myself in, because then I'm just looking for another right-back. Okay, Yannick Schmidt, we're not going to be able to sign. He's turned me down when I've offered him a star player role. Some silver lining, Luke Walder's agreed to join us, so he will be the backup right-back this option. I mean, we've got one out of the 3 players I wanted from Man City, I suppose. Or maybe I should say 1 out of 4, because I do really want Brian Davis still. And Man City don't want to give him to me. Okay, Luke Walder has joined us, so we have got a new backup right back, I suppose. But yeah, it's one of many gaps I still need to fill in the team. Daniel Hooper, who we had on loan back when we were in League 1, is available again. He's just spent the last year at Preston North End, where he didn't play that great, but I still feel like he's got something about him. He was pretty solid for us when we brought him in for the second half of the year. The issue is, at least right now, Everton's wage demand's just a little bit too high. Nicola Longo here, loan listed by Brighton. Doesn't look like a bad player, but the wages just immediately have me concerned. They want me to pay 100% of them. I don't have £17,000 to loan him. Leroy Sané's available. I mean, Leroy Sané, shadow striker. Probably not the worst idea I've had today, and that's kind of saying something. I feel like sometimes in South America there are youngsters playing for the national teams who are still kind of based within the nation that they're from, who can be surprisingly good. Like this guy, Elias Arevalo. He's very good, isn't he? Who's made a bid on him? Bologna. Can I compete with Bologna for him? There's only one way to find out. We'll make the offer. Apparently he won't get a work permit. Never mind, we won't make an offer. He looks really good as well. Paraguay, have you got any good youngsters that are worth me signing? The answer's no. Peru? I mean, Peru does actually have, from the looks of it, some attacking players who, like, could be good. Jose Montenegro here. He looks very good, doesn't he? He's been playing for the same team for a while. What does the agent think? Probably would have no interest in joining us. He has a £650,000 release clause as well. He'd actually be really good. Victor Vega here is not a bad player, but not quite as exciting. This is probably a tad ambitious. I'm now looking through the Brazilian youth teams to see if there's anyone within our budget who might be a good addition. Denilson here looks very, very good. 18 determination, 18 jumping reach. He's 18 years old. He's valued at 18k. 18's the magic number. If I bid 18,000, do you reckon they'll just accept it? They want 20 million. I love that. Valued at between 18 and 190k. And then when you bid, they go, yeah, we want 20 million, please. Apparently he'd want us to get promoted anyway. I got myself excited for nothing. I've gone through the whole of South America. I'm going to go to Africa next. There were actually a couple of South African players that I've looked at in the past and have scouted. The first is Tebogo Sangweni. He looks kind of good to me. 25 years old, crazy pace, really, really good acceleration. Love his good stamina as well. He would work really hard. He's left-footed. Is he actually interested in joining us? He wants us to get promoted. The other man I looked at was John Machete here. He plays for Golden Arrows. He's a centre mid, 18 years old. Could also play on the right-hand side for us. He's the kind of player who, I'm not really sure what you do with him. Like, what is his best role? He has a value of 450k. Is that a release clause? It is a release clause. Can I bid less than the release clause? I probably could have gone for cheaper. For 350k, he's not a bad option at all. Is he another one of these centre mids I'm going to want to train as a defensive midfielder, though? I know he can play as a centre attacking mid and as a wing back. Would you really want this man playing wing back for you? I mean, I say that. You could definitely do worse, and he is only 18. He's a really good player. I'm just not really sure what his best thing is. Could he play as a shadow striker? I suppose you've got to remember he's 18. He reminds me a lot, actually, to players like Aaron McKillop. So how does he compare to McKillop? Okay, he is way better than McKillop in terms of current ability. Blaine Goll is the other man who kind of springs to mind. All of these players are very, very similar. And Machete, he's better than them both. For 350k, he would be a bargain if he actually wants to join us. So far, not getting a whole lot of results in Africa. Guessing this is partially down to the database size. Because we're managing, obviously, in England and I start so far down, I force load so many players in England that you can't load a load of players outside of England. Does mean there's not as many exotic regens to sign. It does seem like South Africa, compared to every other African nation, has way more players kind of just loaded and generated and, well, appearing as regens, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means that what's here is probably all we're going to get. Am I about to go through Asia as well? I don't know why I've gone to China straight away. Chinese players are always really overpriced in FM because of the domestic rules around Chinese players. Don't know if people know this. In China, you're only allowed to have Chinese goalkeepers. So if you have a good Chinese goalkeeper in Football Manager, they are worth their weight in gold. I suppose one advantage of going for all these different nations is you get to see how many different ethnicities get filled in by this face pack, and accurately. It's pretty impressive. We've reached the point where I'm looking at goalkeepers in the... What league does this man play in? The Iraqi 2nd Division Baghdad group. This might be rock bottom in terms of searching for players. Then again, if I find one insane player, it's all been worth it, right? That's what I'm going to tell myself. Reached the Philippines and been reminded that Gadia exists. I'll give him another ring on his phone and see if he's interested. I've got as far as the United Arab Emirates. What team is Gran Pena? Like, are they an affiliate team of someone? I assume they are. They've got Celta Vigo's kits. Is this like Celta Vigo's B team or something? Why have they got so many players from the United Arab Emirates here? Why are some of these players so good? I mean, unfortunately, I think they're all kind of outside of our budget, at least the ones who I'd consider signing, but they've got quite a few. This guy's not bad. I'm not going to be able to say his name. We'll just go with Al Balushi. It's a strong name, isn't it? He looks good. Minimum release clause of 1.8 million. He's currently on 3.8 thousand. Is he interested in joining us? He'd want a wage between 4.5k and 6.5k. He might fail to gain a work permit. It's a risk I'm willing to take. It's not a risk I'm willing to take. He won't get one. I mean, we'll scout him anyway. He's really good. If work permits weren't a thing, all my hard work would have been worth it. I'm running out of continents to go through. Do I now go through North America as well? If you're sat there thinking to yourself, Jack, what are you actually looking for? The honest answer is, I don't really know. I'm looking for someone exciting. Someone who's going to make me say, wow, wow, and turn into Borat. I feel like really what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to delay the inevitable. I'm delaying the fact that at some point I am going to have to try and address the striking and centre attacking mid position. This is like a form of therapy for me. I mean, Costa Rica has some players here. Are these players good? Is what I was about to ask. The answer is they are very good. We've got Henry Rojas here, who looks absolutely mad. I mean, his physicals are a little bit lacking, but at 20 years old, he looks decent-ish. What's the agent saying? We're keen on signing Emery. Apparently, they're going to want between 14 and 130k. Apparently, he's going to want wages between 4.3 and 6k. He might fail to gain a work permit. He won't get a work permit. This is just a waste of time, isn't it? How long have I been sat doing this through every nation? Okay, apparently Machete has some doubts about talking to us. Let's have a chat anyway. I think he'd be a really, really good player. He wants to bring in a player to help him settle. I'm going to offer him star player. He wants £5,000 a week wages, but he also wants this release clause of 4.1 million. I mean, given the price we're bringing him in for, that kind of release clause isn't the worst thing in the world. I am going to try and lowball him a little. I'm going to not make the same mistake we made earlier, where I, stubbornly ask for 4 years, but I'll stick it in just initially to see what he's saying. Can we get £4,000, 3-year deal, Machete? The answer is we can, but he should be granted a work permit on appeal. We hope. We pray. My scouts have quite heavily recommended this guy, Lyndon Hackett. He plays for Manchester United. Apparently, he would be a superb signing, presumably as a loan signing. Could he be the shadow striker we've been looking for? I'll tell you what, he does look pretty good. Please tell me they don't want me to pay his wages. They want me to pay £10,000. I can't do that, Manchester United. I'll just offer them nothing. Okay, never mind. If you were wondering, by the way, how long did I spend going through all the nations in the world? Probably just shy of an hour. It was quite the tangent. I'm still sat thinking about Jordan James. Has he lowered his wage demands in the last couple of weeks? He hasn't. Maybe I can just take him on trial. I mean, if there's one thing that we learnt last year with Percy Donald, remember when he was asking for £9,000 a week and then we signed him a week into the season for £4,000? Maybe it's just a case of we need to do a little bit more of that. Maybe instead of me trying to get all this business done early, I do have to accept that maybe some business has to be done closer to the start of the season, or indeed after the first game of the season's even been played. Jordan James has now joined us on trial. If I approach to sign him, is he going to have a more reasonable wage demand? It's the exact same demand. I don't know what I expected. I have had a request for more scouts granted, so I'm going to get more scouts so we can do more scouting. Okay, well, the dream of getting a second senior affiliate is dead. Apparently, we couldn't find one, which I find a little hard to believe. Gaddy has just got back to me. Still not interested. I'll call him in another week. Have just noticed a potential issue. Rigby and Setford are both at the Olympics. Both the two players that got called up to the Olympics in our squad, goalkeepers. There is a world where neither of them are back at the start of the season. That definitely used to be an issue in Football Manager. I don't know if it's changed, but yeah, sometimes you'd have players missing at the start of the season because of the Olympics. Elsewhere, by the way, Machete, waiting on a work permit. If we sign this guy, that is a really, really good pickup. Apparently, Rojas is very interested in joining us, so much so, it must be the way I roll the R's, that his agents come and chatted with me. I mean, apparently a work permit might be an issue. I'm kind of tempted if the price is right just to try and sign him. And if the work permit gets rejected, then we shrug our shoulders and cry about the £20,000 we've lost. It's not like when we were in the National League and £20,000 was like the do or die amount. Okay, Rojas wants to be an important player. He wants a player to settle. I really can't promise him that, but I can promise that he'd be an important player for us. Still question marks over if he'll even get a work permit on appeal, and I don't think he will, to be clear. But you know what? I think it's worth risking it for a chocolate biscuit. We can see if he's interested, and if he's not, then I'll cry a little bit. To me, he looks like he should be pretty good. I feel like this season is really about bedding the next generation of players into this team. We've got a lot of players in their early 20s, late teens coming into the team now that I want to try and develop ourselves. That's something that we've not really been able to do enough, I feel like, during our time at Guernsey. I've gone back to my roots, everyone. I've just started mass spamming trials to players that had good initial scout reports. I really thought with all these players that we brought in on trial, there'd be some that are particularly good. Actually, I say that. This guy's not bad, is he? Alex Cardero? Is he good? Am I going crazy? Has the bar been set so low that he looks good to me? I feel like we could do a lot worse in the shadow striker department. He's got really good determination and really good leadership. He's been part of Oviedo's setup for a very, very long time. What kind of wages does he want? He wants to be an important player. Can I get him down to regular starter? I can. He's not going to get a work permit. You know things are miserable when I'm looking at a 34-year-old Dale Fry as a possible signing. He's not good, is he? Look at those physicals. They are a problem. I have just opted to wiggle some of our transfer budget into the wage budget because we're already getting pretty close to the kind of raise limit that I'd already set. It's now at just over £100,000. I don't really want to raise it too much more than that. I don't think, at least not this season, but maybe it opens up the opportunity to sign some of these players. I'm currently looking at transfer listed players who are likely to get a work permit. It's thrown up some interesting results, some good players here, just not very affordable, sadly. Celtic have got Francisco Manuel loan listed here. I noticed a few Celtic players coming up in our searches, so I've decided just to search at their players kind of myself to see what's available. Not sure if he's actually going to be interested in a move to us. Probably should have talked to his agent. We still can. Yeah, I guess he's not interested in a permanent move. Maybe he'll want to join us on loan. He doesn't look terrible. Guernsey attracting interest amid takeover rumours. Oh, God, really? The last thing I need right now is a transfer embargo due to a takeover. I mean, I wouldn't mind a tycoon owner. I've seen people in the comments saying, Jack, I'd love to see you get a new owner. There's rumours of it, everyone. Something could happen. Also, 2.5-star reputation. We are big time now. Apshawn is leaving the club. That does free up £3,000 in the wages. Not insignificant money. We have also managed to pick up some new scouts. We've got Nathan Newell, who doesn't look too bad, to be honest. I mean, better than what we've currently got. And, well, we're just adding a bit more depth. And the other scout we've added is Darren Royal, who doesn't look too shabby either. I am now looking through our scout reports. We've got some recommendations for centre-backs. Are any of these actually any good? Tom Coleman here, great, but value between 1.4 and 2.8 million. I can't afford it. Trevor Bailey is a centre-back with absolutely no technicals whatsoever, but his physicals and mentals are very, very good. Apparently, he's a 4-star current ability player. Having looked through all these players, very unimpressed with what's been found so far, but there's another 23 in progress. Who have we got here? This man's caught my eye. 21 years old, plays for Pisa. He looks very, very good. 800k, though, is a lot of Wonga. Is he interested in a move? He wouldn't be interested in a move. Why are we looking at him? What are we doing here? Even the players they're looking at currently, I am pretty underwhelmed by, and that's probably an understatement. We are also looking at shadow strikers. Paul Perks is up there as one of the shadow strikers that they recommend. Is he good? He can't finish and he's lacking some mentals. I mean, he's just a bit of a pace merchant. A few more players we're currently scouting, but most of these just... They're either too much or they're players that are available on loan, and realistically their loan kind of wage demands are just too high for us to be able to sign them. We are also looking at strikers. Few more recommendations with strikers. Who's the best of the lot? Aidan Marsh. There is also strikers being looked at. Are any of these any good? I mean, this man is absolutely incredible, but Bayern Munich want me to pay £37,000 a week. Probably should have set a wage limit, shouldn't I, when I did this scouting assignment? Dale Owen here doesn't look like a terrible option. He's a striker, but I'm actually looking at him thinking, shadow striker, question mark? Shadow striker, question mark? I mean, he loves important matches. He's a consistent performer. Last year, he was on loan in League One. Did have a loan spell to the Championship to play for Wrexham. I think that was the year Wrexham got relegated, and he got 7 goals in their team. He doesn't seem terrible. How much is he going to want a week in wages? That is the dreaded question. I already know the answer is going to be too much. How much does he want? I'm going to just suggest 10k. He wants 26. I knew it. Walk away. Given the fact I've not been able to get Brian back, are we at risk of being relegated without our star centre attacking mid? I really hope not. I'm going to make another bid for Gadia. It's been like 2 days since I last messaged him, but we'll try again. Okay, Machete's work permit's been turned down. We thought that would be the case. We thought we'd have to get it on appeal, so I suppose now we wait. Owen Mason, our former third-choice goalkeeper, on his way to Crystal Palace. That's one more sale. We've done a lot of those, I feel like, without really signing anyone. Abu Kamara isn't really getting any interest in him, and I don't know if I've even got a striking replacement that I'm thinking about signing right now. We're in this weird spot where I have a real weird feeling that we're going to be doing lots of deals late on in the window, which makes me feel a little uncomfortable. I actually feel like this has been the hardest transfer window I've had doing it live in some time here at Guernsey. It's been really hard to actually find players to sign. I feel like that probably comes across in the video, and I appreciate as well when you tune into a transfer special, generally you expect to see transfers, but often there is this kind of squad building element, I suppose, to things where you do have to overthink things. Not everything always goes to plan. Sometimes you blow negotiations that are very, very important, and then you're blessed with a second chance. If you've got any thoughts on this kind of transfer special, I'd be interested to know. It's the kind of one where I could easily cut out all the fat and it'd be a shorter video, but sometimes I feel like it's nice to watch me struggle. I feel like sometimes people see me playing well in FM and go, it's not fair. When I play, it's not like that. Whereas maybe when you get to just see me getting really annoyed, ballsing up negotiations, it's a relief. I want to believe I'm not the only one who plays like this. Also, while I've waffled away, Gadia, 4-year deal on £2,000 a week. Why you couldn't agree to that 2 weeks ago, I have no idea. I guess he's just more unhappy now than he was back then. If we get in Gadia, that is definitely one problem position sorted. I still need a starting centre-back. I can't go into this season without a starting centre-back, but what is there actually out there? Is it time? It's probably not time. Finally, we've got a big signing done, and this is actually a signing I am genuinely excited about. I think John Machete probably comes in and is one of our best midfielders. Now, quite how we're going to get him to fit into the team, I'm not sure yet. I don't think he's going to play right wing back for us. I think he is probably going to be trained at defensive midfielder. It's becoming a meme. Yeah, I'm not sure. I just feel like he's so good with his tackling and his marking and his positioning. Mostly his tackling and positioning at 18. It'd almost be a waste to play him elsewhere. The only other place you could really play him is at right wing back, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's quite good enough for that. At least not right now. I mean, he's the kind of player who I think we train as a defensive midfielder, Segundo Volante, and we just see what becomes of him. We train him in a way that's going to get, hopefully, the most out of him, with a focus on his physicals in the hope that if he does get suddenly a burst of pace, he could play wing-back, he could play higher up the pitch. But yeah, really, really good signing, super technically gifted, some really good physicals outside of his actual kind of acceleration and pace as well. I'm a fan. I think for £300,000, it's a bargain. Has got that release clause to top division teams of 4 million, but if we get £4 million for him, we've made more than tenfold profit, and I'm okay with that. Patrick Vaughan signed for us with a £1.3 million release clause. I've just talked to his agent, and his agent hasn't mentioned the release clause. So I'm now wondering, can I sign Vaughan's and get rid of the release clause? Now, here's the thing. He's locked in the release clause here, so I'm going to walk away from the contract deal. Here's a little tip for you, everyone. You walk away, you throw a hissy fit, you tell the agent, I'm not happy with what you've done there, but then you come back the next day, you hit continue once. You find your player, you tell them, resolve contract with agent, that you lacked flexibility. And then he says his inflexibility was a problem before and he'll do things differently. And then just do the exact same steps again, and boom, these are no longer locked in. We are going to remove and exclude the minimum release clause to higher division clubs. I'm going to lower the relegation release clause to £2 million just to try and sweeten things slightly. He's currently on £3,000. I'm going to try and get him down to 3,200. Maybe sneak in the 5-year deal. Wants the 4-year deal. Can we do 3,000 for 4 years? Really wants the 3.5. 3.2. There you go. There is the art of the deal, everyone. And suddenly, Vaughan's, who only signed with a release clause, no longer has the release clause. There's a few players I do need to do that to before the January transfer window. What is the actual first game of the season? It is Blackpool, then it's Bristol City in the Carabao Cup, then it's Portsmouth, then it's Norwich away. I've already done Blackpool away. This is a disaster. When I record these videos, I don't actually know how much is made the video, but I'm going to assume this is one of the longest transfer specials ever. So if you are enjoying this video, do make sure to drop a like on it. I'm really hoping it's not an hour long or I've messed up badly, but this is definitely... It could hit an hour. I feel like at the very least, I need to give you closure on the Gadia situation. Okay, wasn't sure if this deal was going to happen. It is going to happen. It's been 3 years in the making, maybe 4. Christian Gadia is going to be donning Guernsey colours. We have signed what I'm hoping is going to be a new star striker. That does come with the caveat, a little bit concerned about his injury proneness, but he joins us as a player with championship potential. 24 years old, he has some crazy pace, and what he lacks in actual finishing, I think he more than makes up for in his composure, off-the-ball movement. Worth noting, he does have the trait likes to round keeper. That is very good for players with low finishing. I think he's going to be good for us. Elsewhere, Francisco Manuel has rejected our loan offer, so we can't have all good news on the same day. I have been recording for quite a while, and I am conscious of the fact that it's very late. This has been a longer transfer window than I expected, so I think I'm going to wrap things up here. We've made some pretty big signings today. On the outs, couple of squad players going out on loan, couple of players who were slightly overpaid going out permanently. On the ins, I feel like we've made some really big additions. Gadia, I think, could be a really good star striker that we were lacking last year. Elsewhere in the team, Machete, don't know what we're going to do with him, but I think he'll be amazing. So if you've got any suggestions for where I should play him or what I should be doing with him, do let me know. I do think in our team, probably as a defensive midfielder, is the best course of action. I can maybe see a world. Can I do this now? Should we do this now? I could see a world where Aboubakari becomes the centre attacking mid and Machete plays as the Segundo Volante. Is that the most crazy idea I've ever had? To play Aboubakari as a shadow striker? I think he could do the role pretty well. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like there's loads of different configurations we could go with our current set of players, and some of it might just be trial and error to see what actually works. We did, of course, also sign Tommy Setford, a new goalkeeper. I know lots of people wanted us to get one of those, so I've gone and got one. And last but not least, we did actually make use of our affiliate, not signing the players I really wanted, but we got some sloppy seconds in Luke Walder, who I think will be a useful backup right back this season. If this is our current starting 11 to start the first game of the season, I do still need to find a centre-back. If that doesn't happen, Bobby Thomas will come on down. I am still a little worried about the goalkeeping situation and the Olympics. Anyway, folks, I think we're going to leave things there for today. Please do let me know what you made of this video. Lots of wheeling and dealing. We are in a really, really tough predicament. I don't want to spend beyond my means. I don't want to buy players for a load of money who simply aren't worth it. That said, there is some money left for some wiggle room. And from a financial point of view, the club is in a really, really good spot. And when I look at the team, it's hard not to be excited for the future. We've got lots of young players in our starting 11. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure to drop a like on it. I will see you guys again very, very soon for the start of season number 11. Blackpool away to kick things off. Be here or be sphere. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.